Hi, sorry about that. Okay, yesterday we talked a wee bit about, well, I talked actually a bit about love, passion, and romance. And I put on the bottom there a link to go through and to do it, just a love level, what level you're loving at, or test type. So you'd understand, and I've put some different terminology we use for relationships. So I'm just going to quickly fly through some of that today, and you would have probably printed that out. You can print out the wee test off it there and where you're at. So let's look at it a little bit more detail. So we have romantic relationship, which is kind of what we're all aiming to have at the top, and that's the top end of the scale. So when you did your wee test, how did you feel on that? So what we're looking at each time we look at this, we're looking at the commitment, where you are, and how passionate you are and how intimate you are with your partner. Now this is generally kind of the top end of the scale. So a lot of us will look at our relationships and go, yeah, that's where I want to be, but I'm not. I don't think I'm there 100%, and that's okay, because that's what we're here to do in this series. We're going to build you up to be in the top end of those things, because effectively, when you know where you're not strong, it's no different than a game of tennis or any other sports. You just improve that part of your game. And this instance is this, and we'll talk a lot more about it, each individual part that we need to develop. So for that, and we're going to be looking at competitive love, compassionate love, which is more commitment and intimacy. So there's no passion. I'll probably actually use the wrong word there, but never mind. We'll go into. So there's no passion in the relationship. So quite often this is like an older couple. You might see this, and they've lost the passion because they've been together for a number of years and they know each other's behaviours and everything else. But they're very committed to each other, very loving to each other. But that little spark's gone. So that's what we call companionate love. So therefore it's no different being a flatmate. So we've got to be careful with this when we look at these terminologies, and we see that, okay, so our passion's weak. So therefore what we'll do in that situation, we'd build up the passion side of the thing. We'll be looking at how we can build the passion up, what was passionate previously, what makes each individual feel passionate, and then we'll be looking at teaching the other how to share that with their partner. So let's look at the next one, or we'll just take this another one. Is romantic love, which is lust. Well, that's something pretty early on in the speak. And look, it's kind of almost one night stand material, which sounds a bit rough and a bit unethical for this type of thing. But I want you to get the understanding of what it really is. It's just passion, straight out intimacy, straight out wanting that person for our own desire. So we don't really have a commitment to them for the long term. So we don't have their good or their greater good at heart. So that's kind of like simpling it up a wee bit. I hope that it doesn't sort of mean it's if that's where you've scored, that's what you like. But it does mean that your commitment to that relationship needs to be looked at very seriously. Fictitious love, okay? There's passion and commitment. So you what is it? Yeah. Besottled by the person, installed, well, I can't actually think of the correct word, but you're mesmerised by them. But that's total. So you're passionate about them, you're totally committed to them, but there's no intimacy because you're in fear of them, you're in awe of them, basically. So that's fictitious love, and you can see that coming out. So in actual fact, that means you're in a vulnerable position emotionally for that person, because that person holds all your emotional well-being in that relationship, because you're not getting that other part fed up. So you've actually got them on a pedestal. So liking, no intimacy, it's just intimacy, but no passion or commitment. Yeah, so that's just kind of like a friend, Hey, look, it's kind of what do they talk? Friends with benefits almost. So there's no passion there, no commitment, just intimacy. Or, to the level of intimacy. So that's kind of like, if you see yourself in that position, you've got quite a bit to work on. But that doesn't mean anything's hard or difficult. It just means you now know what you've got to work on. So and this is the same thing for anything we do in life. If we have a score, we know what we've got to build on. So by doing a test when we were young at school, which I really back those, because I think they give you something to aim for and not something to set yourself to achieve from. So tests in that respect are really good. So this is basically giving you a level you're at, and you know where you want to be. So the effectiveness is you need to commit to learning how to get up to that next level, which is really kind of like, you know, empty love is kind of like, yeah, you've got that big hole in the heart, you've got this commitment with this person, but there's no passion or intimacy. You can understand that, and that's where you are. It is an empty feeling. You know, you're not fulfilled with a relationship. But once again, these are all good to know, because once you know this, you can do something about the other. It's not about bagging it all up and going, well, this is no bloody good. It's actually about saying, well, now I know I need to work on my intimacy for now, and I'll get that up, and I'll move that up, and then I'll work on my passion. So, you know, that's starting to care, and that because you're committed to that person, it's not hard. It's, you know, you've already got the groundwork done. Infatuation, yeah, passion, infatuation is when you see someone amazingly beautiful and you're infatuated with it. Might be a TV or movie star. So you can do that in your own relationship. And then you're just infatuated with your partner. They're just so amazing, so beautiful, so whatever. And the problem then, you're not actually committed to them, you're just infatuated to your brain or your thoughts about them or what you think of them. So the intimacy's not there. You know, all the other levels aren't there. It's just straight out passion. So it might as well, the person becomes almost an object because you haven't got the other parts going on. So it's not a good place to be. But you've got a basis. If you're infatuated with someone, you've got this passion for them, you need to start building on the intimacy again. Intimacy is probably the next thing I always often like to look at building on, because once you're intimate with someone, the commitment's already happened. So the commitment happens naturally through intimacy. You're building that up. No love at all. So you got none of those? Well, in reality, that's a sad place to be. To be in a relationship with no love, no passion, no intimacy, and no commitment. So for this type of person, and it's really hard to judge this from a distance, but what you're looking at is building intimacy for a start. Not commitment, not the passion. You just need to start building on the intimacy, because effectively you need to get to understand that person. Why would you want to be with that person or love that person if you only had passion for them? So then we're thinking about what way we can go for a start. So to build on intimacy, you need to build to like them, which is kind of where we've got to go back. So when you look at the others back there, with no love, we'll be building up to getting liking that person, and then we've got something to start on. But no love means you don't like the person. So if you've scored something along those lines, redo it with a little bit more compassion towards yourself and towards your partner. Okay, we'll look at this in more depth next time, and feel free to drop through anything you want to ask about these, because the idea is to build each workshop on these. Thanks guys, till next time tomorrow. Bye.